It's Donte Whitner, 49ers analyst for NBC Bay Area. Played in the NFL for 11 years, 3-time Pro Bowl safety.
And Donte was with the Washington Redskins for a season.
He was.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any interaction with Dan Snyder?
I didn't have any interaction. We were in close proximity on many occasions, but like many players, he never really, spoke to the players that often.
The only ones he did were like the big. I mean, Donte was a great player, but like the Clinton Portises, the LeVar Arringtons, that was the rumor.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I understood it because I didn't have anything invested there. I was there for the last 6 months of my career, so I didn't have much invested. Those guys had a ton invested.
Right. All right, so we had you on because I know you're a San Francisco guy. I want to get your thoughts on Deebo. A lot of people are kind of saying, he's washed, he's fat, best days behind him. A lot of us here seem to think he's a pretty good fit.
I think he might be a good fit. But when you look at his body of work, he had that tremendous year in 2021 when he had over 1,400 yards receiving, averaged 18 yards per catch, and he still did it on the ground, 8 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He's been on decline ever since, and a lot of it has been the emergence of Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, other guys getting opportunities. And then some of it is when you get later in your career, you have to tweak things that you eat. You have to tweak your off-season routine, and you have to make sure that as you get older, you start to lose weight. So I'm not sure if he has somebody that's giving him that information, but, this is a pinnacle point in his career. And it starts right now. Is he working out right now? Is he dieting? Is he trying to get to his leanest state that he's been since 2021? Or are you just coasting and thinking that you're going to be able to turn it on? So there were some instances this year where teams would just play man-to-man coverage versus Deebo Samuel, and missing Christian McCaffrey, it really exposed a little bit in his game. When you can get him in the flat, get him in the open area, use misdirection, let him run up the middle, get him matched up with linebackers, he's great. But a lot of times when the cornerbacks would get their hands on him, he couldn't separate. And a lot of that is you're getting older. You're not as lean as you were when you came into the league. But I have, full confidence that Deebo Samuel with a full dedicated offseason can get back to his all-pro ways.
Well, let me ask you this. When you were in the league, you used the word coasting. What's kind of the percentage of guys who coast versus have really elite work ethic and work hard all the time? And what do you know about Deebo in that department?
Well, the 1% are the guys who are the all-pros and the Pro Bowlers and make the most money. So I would say it's somewhere around that 1 to 5% that don't go into coast mode. And I call it really the Tom Brady syndrome. We all play the game because we love it, and then you make money, and then you make a lot of money, and it's natural, it's normal, it's instinctual, it's human instincts to get comfortable. It's hard to get up at 5:30 in the morning and be truly dedicated to your craft, and then go back to the track in 90-degree heat when you made $60 million. It's easy to do that when you haven't made any money. So that's where you start to see the separation between the great players and the Hall of Famers.
Donte, from what you know about him, your experiences with Deebo, is he a good team guy? Is he a good culture fit here in Washington? Because there's been a lot made of Dan Quinn and Adam Peters revamping the culture, the way things are done here in Washington. We saw that high-profile skirmish on the sideline between him and the kicker and the long snapper last year. Is he a good culture guy, a good culture fit here in D.C.?
Absolutely, and that was just passion and frustration. The season was going tough all year, dealing with a lot of injuries, losing a bunch of close games, and the kicker not really executing in the moment. But I think that when you look at the 49ers' body of work, the identity that they set on the offensive side of the ball, I would say that physicality and that identity starts with Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. But you have to perform at a certain level, and the players, your peers around the league, have to view you a certain way, and they have to actually respect you. So if he can get that burst back, if he can get that that physicality back where he runs through tackles and he can separate versus man coverage, absolutely. And as he plays that way with that physical type of presence, the other players around him will play with a more physical type of presence. So I think that he'll be a great culture guy in Washington.